Hello, everyone. This is Wrestling Discussion, a YouTube wrestling channel that discusses professional wrestling. So, the main event of Raw on Netflix saw CM Punk face off against Seth Rollins. This has been a heated program for a while now. They've tried to do this since the night CM Punk came back at Survivor Series 2023. They planted the seeds for that night, and I think they wanted to do it at WrestleMania 40. Unfortunately, CM Punk tore his tricep, got injured, and then The Rock came back, and then shenanigans happened, right? But we're here now. We had the match, and this was. They both came ready to go. This was high drama, as it's called. They both came out to resounding reactions. They both got huge pops. I think, if you were to sort of make this into a percentage babyface heel, I feel like CM Punk is like 51% babyface. I feel like Seth Rollins is 49% heel. I feel like, CM Punk is just slightly more to the babyface side. Seth Rollins is just slightly more to the heel side, but it's not much. It's subliminal, right? Based on their promos, and it's hard to even know if it's intentional, what's scripted and what's not, but it's definitely coming across the feud so far, and I'm not sure if this is the ultimate payoff, if it's done or not, or if they go away and then come back to this in a little while. I can't imagine it's done completely. I could see it being done for perhaps a little while, right? Till at least after WrestleMania season. That's my cat. Go away. You know, so they both got a lot of heavy offense in, right? And, in previous videos, I talked about, and especially about videos concerning this Raw on Netflix, about kicking out of each other's finish, and they did that a lot. They even used each other's finish. CM Punk hit the foot stomp, and Seth Rollins hit the GTS. And everything got a resounding applause, and everything got a huge reaction. And eventually the finish would come when CM Punk would hit a GTS on Seth Rollins, who remained standing. He would bounce off the ropes. CM Punk was selling at this point, barely conscious sort of thing. Rollins would bounce off the ropes and land back on CM Punk's shoulders, who would then hit a second GTS for the 1, 2, 3. And that was all for this one, right? And now we have to wonder where we go from here. I think we're definitely seeing some long-term storytelling within the company. I think if I had to guess, right, and this is just a guess, I think Seth Rollins slowly but surely transforms back into a heel. And I think CM Punk remains in that babyface, pseudo babyface role, as he's just himself. He's not necessarily a company guy, although he seems certainly to be now, but he's still himself sort of thing. And Seth is the company guy. He's the I'll do anything for WWE, I'm the workhorse, I'm this, I'm that. And I think the long-term plan here is I think you're going to have Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins eventually form some sort of group to go up against CM Punk and the Bloodline. That seems where it's going. I'm not sure though. It's really hard to tell. You can't really tell. It's just it would seem that's the subliminal sort of booking we're getting, right? Because Seth and storyline doesn't like Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens obviously doesn't like Roman Reigns, and Drew McIntyre obviously doesn't like Roman Reigns. And they all have some sort of issue with Roman and or the Bloodline, except Seth is still friends with Jay and Sammy, and so it's got to happen slowly but surely. And this is a video for another time, but if we're looking at WrestleMania 41, if we're looking at Cena versus Rhodes, Rumors has it that we could be looking at CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Well, that leaves Gunther in that world title sort of stranded, and I would guess that we would see Gunther versus Seth Rollins. The only problem with that is Gunther has been acting like a babyface in recent weeks, slightly. He still wrestles like that arrogant heel champion, but when he was wrestling Finn Balor, the Judgment Day, and stuff like that, he was going through that situation. He was more the babyface. Now, maybe he'll transition back to full heel, and we'll get heel Gunther versus babyface Seth, but heel Seth versus babyface Gunther, if you could do that, also sounds intriguing. A lot of intriguing matchups here, right? And what I find most interesting is post-WrestleMania when they revisit this CM Punk Seth Rollins issue, because they have to. They just have to. I still think there's meat on the bone between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. I know they had the trilogy this past year that ended at Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood, but you got to think one of them holds a world title. There's an instant match there with the other for a world title match. I also think there's an instant rematch for a world title if Seth gets it from Gunther. You have Seth versus CM Punk. That would be a natural match, right? Let's say Gunther drops the world title to Seth at WrestleMania. Well, who comes out the next night? CM Punk. To mess up Seth Rollins' celebration. CM Punk looked at Seth, look, I beat you. I want that world title. Boom, one-on-one match. You have it revisited right there. The booking's fairly simple. And I do think that's the direction in some variation of where they're going. I do think we're getting Seth versus Gunther. That's the biggest match for a world title I think Raw can do. Fortunately, that kind of leaves Finn Balor and Damian Priest and some others out, but there's some good booking that you can do there too, but that's another video for another time. But this main event it had that big premium live event last match feel. They definitely had that, and I thought it would be a little bit more of a screw job finish, honestly. But I guess in this day and age, you don't need that. Old school booking, Punk or Seth would catch the other one with some kind of a roll-up or some sort of, you go for the sunset flip, but you lean down, you catch it with the 1, 2, 3. You beat him, but you didn't beat him, and then you have something to go forward to in the future. I.e., like a Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin Survivor Series 96. Stone Cold had him in the $1 Million Dream. Bret kicks off the corner. Over the top, 1, 2, 3, sort of fluke pinfall. I thought they'd do something like that here, but I guess, it's 2025 now. We don't need to. That's all for this one, guys. Thanks.